What if the apocalypse isn't coming? Because it's already here. Locked away in a bunker designed to survive nuclear war, sealed behind layers of steel and concrete, there exists a single vial of liquid. Just one drop. That's all it would take to end everything. This is the classified file of SCP-008, the zombie plague, and it's real. Welcome to another descent into the archives of the SCP Foundation, where the impossible is contained and nightmares are given numbers instead of names. Today, we're examining something that goes beyond folklore, beyond Hollywood horror. This is about a biological weapon so devastating, so perfectly designed to destroy humanity, that its very existence is kept from the public. SCP-008 is not a monster. It's not a creature from another dimension. It's something far worse. It's a virus, a microscopic killer that doesn't just end your life. It hijacks your body, erases your mind, and turns you into a weapon designed to spread itself. This is the virus that invented the zombie, not in fiction, in containment. And every single day, the Foundation fights to ensure it stays that way. So lock your doors, turn down the lights, because once you understand what SCP-008 really is, you'll never look at infectious disease the same way again. Let's talk about what SCP-008 actually is. To the untrained eye, it appears harmless. A collection of vials containing a reddish, fibrous substance. No movement, no sound, just sitting there, waiting. But appearances, as always, deceive. SCP-008 is classified as a complex prion. Now, if you're not familiar with prion, here's what makes them uniquely terrifying. Unlike bacteria or traditional viruses, prion are misfolded proteins. They can't be killed because they were never alive. You can't take antibiotics to stop them. You can't develop an immune response to fight them. Once they're inside you, they force your cells to create more of themselves, spreading like a corrupted file, infecting an entire system. And SCP-008, it's the most infectious prion ever documented. Transmission occurs through any bodily fluid, blood, saliva, even airborne particles in enclosed spaces. A scratch from an infected host, a bite, direct contact with contaminated material. The barrier for infection is terrifyingly low. One microscopic exposure is all it takes. Once SCP-008 enters your body, the clock starts ticking. And here's the timeline of your final hours as a human being. Hour 1 to 3 *, initial symptoms appear. You feel a slight fever, nothing alarming. Maybe you think it's just stress or the beginning of a cold. Your head starts to ache, a dull, persistent pain behind your eyes. You feel confused, disoriented. Words don't come as easily, but you push through. You tell yourself you're fine. You're not fine. Hour 4 to 6 *, the fever spikes dramatically. Your temperature climbs to dangerous levels. Your muscles ache with every movement. Speech becomes slurred, incoherent. You forget simple things. Where you are, what day it is, the names of people you've known your entire life. Your thoughts feel scattered, like trying to hold water in your hands. Hour 7 to 12 *, this is when the visible transformation begins. Your skin loses its color, turning pale, then gray. Your eyes cloud over, losing focus, losing recognition. You stop responding to your own name. Your movements become jerky, uncoordinated. Saliva drips from your mouth because you've forgotten how to swallow. The person you were is dissolving, piece by piece, memory by memory. Hour 13 to 20 *, all higher brain function ceases. Language, gone. Self-awareness, gone. Memories of your childhood, your loved ones, everything that made you you, erased. What remains is operating on the most primitive level of the brain, the reptilian core, the part that only knows hunger, aggression, and the biological imperative to spread. At hour 20, the transformation completes. You are now designated SCP-008-1, a victim turned vector, a human turned hunter. And here's what makes it a nightmare. SCP-008-1 instances don't behave like Hollywood zombies. They don't shamble aimlessly. They pursue with focused intent. They use basic problem solving to reach prey. They can open doors, climb obstacles, work together in primitive coordination. They feel no pain. A bullet to the chest won't stop them. Fire will eventually destroy the body, but they'll keep attacking while they burn. The only guaranteed method of neutralization is complete destruction of the brain stem. Anything less, and they keep coming. And the virus itself? Nearly indestructible. It survives in dead tissue for up to 3 weeks. It resists extreme temperatures, both hot and cold. Standard hospital sterilization procedures are ineffective. Chemical disinfectants barely slow its spread. Radiation has no effect. In laboratory testing, SCP-008 has demonstrated a 100% mortality rate, 100% conversion rate, 0 survivors, 0 immunity, 0 cure. This is not a disease. This is the end of the world in biological form. Now you understand why the Foundation doesn't just lock SCP-008 away. They've buried it. The containment facility is located in an undisclosed bunker designed to withstand direct nuclear strikes. Access requires Level 4 clearance, which less than a dozen people in the entire organization possess. The storage chamber is sealed behind 3 separate airlocks, each requiring biometric authentication. Armed guards are stationed 24/7 with orders to shoot on sight anyone attempting unauthorized entry. And if containment breach occurs, the entire facility is designed to self-destruct, incinerating everything within a 5-mile radius. Because the Foundation has run the numbers, they've modeled what happens if even one vial breaks. Patient 0 infects 5 people in the first day. Those 5 infect 25 more. Exponential growth. Within 1 week, a major city falls. Within 2 weeks, neighboring regions are overrun. Quarantine measures fail because infected individuals can appear healthy for the first 12 hours. They walk through checkpoints. They board planes. They cross borders. Within 30 days, global infrastructure collapses. Governments fall. Military forces are overwhelmed. Survivors retreat to fortified zones. But the infected don't need food, don't need rest. They just keep coming, and coming, and coming. Within 90 days, human civilization as we know it ceases to exist. This is the K-Class end of the world scenario labeled as ZK-Class reality failure. Total, irreversible, extinction. But here's the question that haunts Foundation researchers late at night. Where did SCP-008 come from? Theory 1. The bioweapon. Some believe SCP-008 is the product of a Cold War weapons program. Imagine a secret laboratory funded by a government desperate for the ultimate deterrent. Scientists engineering the perfect plague, something that would turn enemy populations against themselves. Something unstoppable. But somewhere, something went wrong. A containment failure. A cover-up. The project was buried, forgotten, until the Foundation found it decades later. Theory 2. The extraterrestrial. Others point to SCP-008's unnatural resistance to everything we throw at it. No earthly pathogen behaves like this. Its structure doesn't match any known protein folding. What if it didn't evolve here? What if it came from somewhere else? A microbe hitching a ride on a meteorite, surviving the vacuum of space, waiting in dormancy until it found a host. Perhaps this is how planets die, not through war or natural disaster, but through contamination from beyond. Theory 3. The evolution. The darkest theory suggests SCP-008 isn't ancient at all. It's new. A spontaneous mutation in some unknown host organism that created the perfect killer. Nature doesn't have morality. Evolution doesn't care about humanity. What if SCP-008 is simply the next step? Not a weapon, not an alien invader, but the universe's way of hitting the reset button on Earth's dominant species. The truth is, no one knows. And perhaps that's more terrifying than any answer. SCP-008 exists in a gallery of biological horrors within the Foundation's catalog. Consider SCP-610, the flesh that hates. A disease that turns living tissue into an ever-expanding mass of corrupted flesh. Victims are absorbed, their bodies fusing with others into grotesque structures that pulse with tortured consciousness. Like SCP-008, it spreads through contact. Like SCP-008, there is no cure. But where 008 creates individual hunters, 610 creates a collective nightmare. A hive mind of screaming flesh that grows and spreads like a cancerous tumor across the landscape. Then there's SCP-049, the entity known as the Plague Doctor. A humanoid figure dressed in medieval plague doctor attire, convinced it is curing humanity of something it calls the pestilence. Its touch causes instant death, and through a mysterious surgery, it reanimates corpses into docile servants it calls the cured. Some researchers theorize, what if the pestilence that 049 detects is actually SCP-008? What if this entity, perhaps from another time, another reality, is trying to prevent the outbreak we're currently containing? And we cannot ignore SCP-217, the clockwork virus, a condition that slowly transforms biological tissue into mechanical components. Flesh becomes metal, blood becomes oil, organs become gears and springs. The infected remain conscious throughout the transformation, aware as their humanity is literally replaced piece by piece. It's a different kind of conversion than 008, but the underlying horror is identical, the complete erasure of human identity. These anomalies teach us a fundamental truth about the SCP universe. Death is not the worst fate. Transformation is. The loss of self, the corruption of everything that makes us human. That's the real terror. There's a lesson buried in the horror of SCP-008, a warning written in viral code. Humanity has spent millennia believing we are untouchable. We've conquered plagues that killed millions. We've eradicated diseases that haunted our ancestors. We've mapped our own genetic code and sent machines to explore other planets. We believe ourselves to be the masters of nature. But SCP-008 is a reminder of a humbling truth. We are fragile. Incredibly, terrifyingly fragile. One microscopic organism, one containment failure, one careless moment. That's all it takes to bring down everything we've built. Our cities, our technology, our civilization, all of it rests on the assumption that the microbiological world plays by rules we understand. But what if it doesn't? What if there are things out there, whether created in a lab, evolved in nature, or brought from beyond, that we have no defense against? The real horror of SCP-008 isn't the virus itself. It's what it represents. The knowledge that despite all our advances, we are still one outbreak away from extinction. That the end of humanity might not come from nuclear war or climate change or asteroid impact. It might come from something too small to see with the naked eye. And perhaps that's the Foundation's most important mission. Not just to contain anomalies, but to shield humanity from the terrible knowledge that we are not as safe as we like to believe. That the monsters are real. That the apocalypse is possible. That it's already contained, and containment could fail at any moment. So let me leave you with this thought. A question that might disturb your sleep tonight. What if SCP-008 isn't unique? What if it's not the only one? Think about the zombie myths that exist in nearly every culture on Earth. The Walking Dead, the plague victims who rise again, the infected who lose their humanity. These stories appear in ancient texts, in medieval records, in folklore from every continent. Different times, different places, but the same basic story. What if these weren't myths? What if they were memories? What if something like SCP-008 has existed before? What if humanity has faced this extinction-level threat in the past and somehow survived? What if the Foundation isn't containing a future apocalypse, but preventing a historical one from happening again? Or perhaps even darker, what if SCP-008 is not a threat from the past or future, but a reminder of our present? A warning that the end of humanity might not come from the stars or from ancient ruins, but from our own hands, from a laboratory, from an experiment that went too far, from scientists who asked, can we, without stopping to ask, should we? Is SCP-008 a natural disaster or a man-made one? I'll let you decide. If you want to explore the mystery further, I encourage you to visit the SCP Wiki and read the original SCP-008 document yourself. Form your own theories. Decide what you believe. The truth, as always, is classified. And if you're ready to go deeper into the Foundation's darkest secrets, stay tuned. Because next time, we're exploring something that doesn't just infect your body. It freezes reality itself. SCP-009 is waiting in the cold. But before you go, if you want to continue this journey into the SCP Foundation's most terrifying anomalies, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because these secrets don't stay buried forever, and you won't want to miss what we uncover next. Until then, sleep well. Lock your doors. And remember, the Foundation is watching. Always. Because someone has to stand between humanity and the things that want to end it.